What's up? I'm Bertok. I've made $4 million in personal commissions doing door-to-door sales and been in charge of building teams from scratch. Retained every single leader from a bankruptcy, and I've rebuilt after losing entire teams after one day. Today, I'm going to show you the 5 biggest reasons why your sales teams keep quitting you and how to fix that. Now, if you're a manager and you're struggling to keep your reps, or you're thinking about getting into leadership, this might be the most important video you watch this year. By the end of this video, you'll either realize leadership isn't for you, or you'll have the exact framework of what it takes to build a team that actually sticks around and makes money. Let's get into it. Reason number 1 why your people keep quitting you is because you don't pour into your people fast enough. Here's what most managers do. They recruit somebody and they stick them into the field and they tell them, hey, go knock doors. And then they'll come check in on them later. The reason why you're losing people is because you don't do something called the 60-day pour-in period. The first 60 days that your rep is in your organization is the most crucial 60 days of your career with that person. The same reason why a rep will come into your organization is the exact same reason why they'll leave. If you don't have a real relationship with the rep within the first 60 days, the moment somebody offers them more money or the job gets hard, they're gone. I learned this the hard way in Oklahoma. I had a team of brand new setters that I had brought on, didn't build a relationship with them, and I had a competitor roll up on them an area and recruit them away from me, offering them more money, and they had bounced. Most people, they want to know this. They want to know why. The reason why these reps had left me was because I didn't have a real relationship with them. I hadn't poured into them, so there was nothing keeping them tied to me. Here's what to do instead. You have 2 categories. You have your mind and you have the heart. Okay, it's your job as a leader to be a great leader and touch not only their mind, but also their heart. Now let me explain this. When you're first recruiting these reps, the first 2 nights that you're with them should be all about their heart, getting to know them, getting to know their life, their goals, their story, and what they want out of the job. What you're doing here is getting to know below the surface, the depth as to why they're wanting to do this job. The idea behind touching their heart is you want them to know that you care more about them outside of just the number on the leaderboard that they provide. You want to make sure that they feel that they are heard as a person. That'll create depth within the relationship, another subcategory that you'll be able to touch their heart on. Aside from the heart, the next thing I want to focus on is the mind. There's 4 subcategories within the mind that you must teach for those people to feel valued. Obviously, we do sales. You need to teach them everything about sales and the skill set that'll provide an undeniable proof of income for time to come. Mindset is the biggest thing that blocks people from being able to have success inside sales. A lot of people are self-sabotaging and don't believe that they can do the job that so many others around them are able to do. The biggest thing as a leader that you must do is provide a vision. As a leader, it is your job to have a vision that is so big that those you lead have goals that can fit inside that vision. Okay. The last thing I want to touch on right here is accountability. One of the hardest things as a leader is to go provide an accountability partner to that rep. A lot of us feel that we don't want to have those hard conversations, but those hard conversations you're avoiding are what keeping people you lead from having the success that they desire. Reason number 2 your people keep quitting you is because you don't paint a vision. Without vision, your people will perish. A few years back, I had the number 1 rep on my team and one of the top reps in the company approach me and asked to become a manager. My response was, you're not ready to be a manager. You don't even have any guys. And that's where I let him down. He ended up leaving, taking one of my main guys with him, and I lost about 4 other reps in the process. I didn't paint the vision for him. I didn't tell him, here's where you're at. Here's the path to where you need to go in order to have the desired outcome of becoming a manager. I didn't give him any vote of confidence that, hey, this is where you're at and this is where I need to take you to be. It's my job as a leader to help you. Instead, shutting him down resulted in him now being a top producer at a different company. Here's what to do instead. When you're approached by reps you lead and they want to become a manager, they want to make more money, and they want to grow, your response needs to be a vision painted for them. There's an old proverb talking about the Chinese noodle and the effect that it has on a person's success rate, okay? Now, what this means is most reps, when they approach you as a leader, they're here at the top of this mountain. And on this mountain is their success rate that they've been having. And when they come to you and they want to become a manager or a leader of any sort, you have to paint the vision of what can be, but also the depths of lows that they will have, okay? Once they become the top, they're then gonna sit in this valley of lack of success and a ton of frustration. Their desired outcome is never gonna change. They're always gonna wanna be up here, But as long as they understand that there is that low totem pole for a while, that struggle that they're gonna feel, some of the best sales reps honestly become one of the worst leaders at first. And then when they become a great manager, they become a very hard and difficult road to a regional. The second thing I wanna talk about when it comes to painting a vision is there's two different types of visions and the ability to serve others. There's influence and there's impact. Influence is a mile wide and an inch deep. Impact is a mile deep and an inch wide. Now, let me explain this. Influence typically comes from the top rep. When you're a top sales rep, you have the ability to influence not only the office, but also company averages as well. Meaning people want to learn and be more like you from a sales perspective. Now, that doesn't mean that you're gonna be a leader. That means that you'll lead the leaderboards, okay? Impact, if people wanna be true leaders, they need to learn the impact that can be associated with leadership. Impact means that you have to know their heart and their mind. You go back to the principle of number one. When somebody approaches you and says, I want to be a leader, help them see the vision of how much it's going to take and a disproportionate amount of value exchange it takes. You want to treat relationships like emotional piggy banks. A lot of people treat relationships like emotional credit cards, that there's not necessarily a limit, and if there is a limit, it's pretty high. An emotional piggy bank allows fair exchange. At one point, if you just continue to deposit and deposit and deposit into reps and you don't get any deposits back as a leader, eventually you have emptied your bank on that rep and there's nothing more that you can get from them, and that is a bad relationship. If your people feel a lack of vision, then they're gonna go find somebody that can paint that for them. Reason number three your people keep quitting you is you're not leading by example. Your reps are watching everything that you do. If you're telling them that you're knocking doors every single day, but you're really in the car, they see that. If you tell your reps that you're disciplined, but you're out partying every weekend, they see that. You cannot ask your reps to do something that you're not willing to do, ever. When I was building my team in Arkansas, I was out in the trenches with them. I was knocking doors, I was setting appointments, I was closing deals. I was showing them that I'm not just some manager that sits back and collects overrides. I was out in the trenches with them. It's streetlights over spotlights. And bro, that builds loyalty, that builds trust, that builds respect. I'm gonna give you 2 laws to live by as a leader. Number 1, law of the half. Okay. What this means is, as a leader, you can expect that the reps you lead will only do half as good as what you do. The next one is the law of the double. Now, what that means is the reps that you lead will do double of the worst traits that you have. Okay. If I go out and I knock 100 doors a day, I can expect my reps to do half of that. Now, if I sit in my car for an hour of that day, I can expect my reps to do 2 hours of that. What this does is it puts into perspective that what reps are learning isn't what's from being taught, it's what's being caught. It's our job as leaders to be the example, so that way they have somebody to cling to. In 2022, from March to November, I set out to go and do the impossible and go and install over 130 accounts in a brand new market I'd never sold in. Not only was that something that was impossible, but it was also a status level inside the door-to-door space as a golden door. Now, with me leading a team, what that did is the law of the half and law of the double was full in effect. The reps that I led were able to have some of the best earning years of their life. I had 5 closers that I led personally that did over 6 figures in 6 months of work. And I had my worst traits get exposed by reps that I led doing the exact same problems I had. I want to go more in depth about leadership and leading by example. Right here, we've talked about the mind, right? Teaching your reps how to go sell, recruit, lead. That is one facet of being a leader inside this business. I would argue leadership extends so much more than just a job, business, etc. The number one thing as a leader that you must do is lead by example inside your personal life. Who you do business with is who you do life with. Even more than that, you must have the principle that you die by. Be, do, have. You must be the person, do the work to have the desired outcome. I'm gonna talk a little bit about this. My wife and I got married in 2022. We now have a son that's 6 months old. My job as a husband is to show up once a week minimum for a non-negotiable date night. I don't miss that. The same way I will never miss an appointment for a setter is the exact same way that I'll never miss an appointment with my wife as a date. Why is that? If I don't serve my wife to the greatest capacity, I can expect less blessings from God because God placed that woman in my life to go better it, amplify it. If I don't nurture that relationship inside my home, I can expect as a leader that I won't be able to nourish the relationships in the business that I'm leading on a day-to-day basis. The second example of leading inside your personal life is you want to view that the people that you lead, especially your sales reps, that they are much like your kids. They look at you in all aspects of life. It's not what's taught, it's what's caught. Your people are watching you. The moment that you stumble, they'll stumble a few blocks down. The reason why they're stumbling is because they watch what you do and they do the exact same thing. The only way that you will be able to refine these processes is creating something called a feedback loop. As a leader, it is your job to have enough security, enough confidence that for those that you lead, having the ability to come to you and give you feedback, good and bad, so that way you can continue to refine your craft and be the example that they, 1, deserve, but 2, need in order to have the success that they hope to have in life. The principle is simple. Lead by example. Give them undeniable proof of the person that they're following is worth following. Show them what it looks like to grind. They should see you up early and up late, doing the necessities it takes in order to lead the masses. The most important thing when it comes to leading by example is show them the sacrifice. You as a man, you as a leader, you will always have to pay the piper. You can either pay the piper now or you can pay it later. Let me give you an example on this. My goal in life is to sacrifice now. I'm 25 years old. I've built multiple teams. I've been able to do over hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue for businesses I've sold for. And the number one thing that has kept me able to do that at such a high clip at a young age is knowing that my why is bigger than any how. My why behind doing this job at an exceptional rate as young as I am is so that I can get out of this space at a young age and grow up with my kids. If I sacrifice time away from my kids and my wife now, and I make undeniable money to go put it to work because my money is made through concentration and it's multiplied through diversification. It allows me to go be smart, make a ton of money, put it to work so that 10, 15 years from now when my kids are in school and they're able to be coached in sports, I'm the one showing up. I'm the one in the pickup line. I'm the one coaching them in sports. Why? Because I missed out on the lake trips with the boys back in my 20s so I can go show up as dad in the 30s. As a leader, ask yourself this. Because I'm not willing to do it, why should they? Reason number 4, your reps keep quitting you is because you're not celebrating their wins. Here's what most managers do. Their rep gets their first sale and their response is, cool bro, go get another one. Bro, that's how you kill momentum. When somebody gets their first sale, that's a big deal. That's the moment that they prove to themselves that they can do this. That's the moment that they start believing. And if you don't celebrate that with them, they're gonna start feeling like it doesn't matter. Here's what you do instead. When a rep gets their first sale, you call them, you text them, you boast about them in the group chat. You take them to dinner. You make them feel like they did something big because they did. I'm gonna give you an example. A few years back, I went and closed a rep's deal. It was his first day knocking. He set a same day appointment and I went and closed it. I called him up and I taught him the principle of dependence, independence, and interdependence inside the job and painted a vision. Ever since that rep has continued to grow with me year over year and has become one of the most dominant reps inside the space. Inside the sales that we do, we have a setter closer model. Okay, this is the backbone to our program and it's what gives us the most amount of success. When a person comes into the job, they are dependent on the setter closer model. My job as a setter when I first come in is to go set appointments and I depend on the closer to then go close the deals. After that, I promote into a position of independence. I now get to self-generate my own accounts. I not only go and set that account, but I then go and close it. I no longer need anybody. And after that, I can promote into an interdependent role where I'm serving others. Going back to that phone call with that rep, I had called him jazzed out of my mind, seeing him have success, not only in the first day, but the first few hours of his day. And what I did is I called him and let him know that the path of success that he's about to walk down, he should sprint. I let him know that right now he's in a dependent stage. He was dependent on me by going and closing that deal. As he continues to progress in this job, he will be put in a position to then be independent and he will feel a huge amount of success for a short time. The reason why he'll feel that massive amount of success for a short time is simple. Independence drains you. You don't feel fulfilled and you feel like you're serving one person. It's because you are. And that's when the coolest moment in leadership happens for me inside my business. I then get to show the independent rep what it means to be interdependent and the fulfillment that comes from it. The moment somebody comes to me and says, hey, Cam, I no longer feel fulfilled inside this job. I'm just going through the motions and I'm just closing my own deals. It doesn't feel fulfilling. They've hit it. They are now in a peak state of mind wondering what's next. And what's next is simple, serving others. It is your job inside the setter closer model to become interdependent at some point, to serve those you're around for no other gain other than to serve. Yes, there's money attachments to it, but the reality of it is simple. In leadership, the money is a byproduct of not only how many people you can lead, but the amount of impact of those you can lead that you have. Lesson is simple. When your rep has their first 10K week, you celebrate it. When your rep has their first 100K year, you celebrate it. And I promise you one thing, if you grow into the leader that I know you can be, when the rep has their first 100K month, you better damn well celebrate it. You make them feel seen. You make them feel heard and you celebrate their wins. Because if you don't celebrate their wins, I promise you one thing, there's somebody sitting on the sidelines ready to celebrate their wins for them. Reason number 5, your people are quitting you is because you don't hold your people accountable. Here's the flip side of celebrating people's wins. When they're not doing their job, it is your job to hold them accountable. If your rep says they're gonna go knock 50 doors today and they go knock 20, you call that out. If your rep says that they're gonna go and recruit 2 people this month and they don't even make a single call, you call that out. Because if you don't, then they're gonna think that it's okay. And then everybody on your team is going to see that you don't hold those people accountable, and they're going to begin to slack thinking that it's okay. Here's what you do instead. You set clear expectations. But the reality is this: you can only expect what you inspect. It is your job as the leader to continue to inspect the things going on inside the business that you lead. Here's what you say: this is what I expect, here's what we're going to measure, and this is what success looks like. And then you hold them accountable to that. Now, the reality of this is simple. Your people will never feel like success is easily obtained unless they've seen it done by you. Going back to the principle right here of leading by example. There is no accountability if it does not stem from the leader first. You don't let them off the hook. You don't let them make excuses, and you hold them accountable. High achievers cannot reside around mediocrity. If you're not holding your people accountable, you're not a leader, you're a friend. And friends do not build high achieving teams, leaders do. Look, I just gave you 5 of the biggest reasons why your sales teams keep quitting. But if you're watching this and you're thinking, I'm ready to fix this, I'm ready to build a team, then you might have what it takes to be a great leader. The reality is most managers will keep making the same mistakes, and they're gonna wonder why their reps keep quitting. They'll blame the industry, they'll blame the company. Hell, they'll even blame the reps, but they'll never look in the mirror. The managers who pour into their people, that paint the vision, that lead by example, that celebrate the wins, and hold people accountable, those are the managers that build teams that last. So here's my challenge. Pick one of those 5 reasons and commit to fixing it this week. Just one, start there. And if you want to learn more about how to build and scale high-performing sales teams, hit subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.